Marlis, what is your full name?
Marlis Ann Imke Stern.
What are your parents' names?
Hazel Bernice Abrams Imke, and my father's name was Alvin Henry Imke.
And tell me again, what is your maiden name?
Imke, I-M-M-K-E.
What is or was your occupation?
I was a teacher, Montessori teacher, and now I work part-time at Ewing Cultural Center, just down the street.
Tell me where you were born, what state,
Illinois,
what city,
Pontiac,
what hospital.
St. James.
Who is your next of kin?
I have a brother, Alvin Henry Imke Jr., and he still lives at the farm.
Where did you go to grade school?
Sonneman,
In what city was that?
in Sonneman, Illinois.
And where did you go to high school?
Sonneman,
And what year did you graduate high school?
1967.
And where did you go to college?
Illinois State University,
And from what years to what year did you go to college?
1967 until 1971.
And again, you have brothers and sisters?
Just one brother.
One brother. All right, so tell me, I just want to start with, like, in the months before you two met. So Harry, okay, first of all, tell me, do you remember the exact date you two met?
I do.
Okay, so what was that?
March 3rd, 1968.
All right, so Harry, what were you doing
I was working at the furniture store.
at the end of 1967, beginning of 1968? And Marlis, what were you doing in the months leading up to that?
I was a freshman at Illinois State University.
All right, so tell me exactly how you two met and who introduced you and what happened.
It was a Saturday morning. I was working at the furniture store, which was usually a busy day, primarily because a lot of the farm people would come into town on Saturday to shop. And Marlis came into the store to buy some item, and she was very physically attractive, very beautiful. And so I was attracted to her, and all of my salespeople on my staff were busy. So I approached her and started a conversation with her, and she was not reluctant. She wasn't shy. She was willing to talk. And we ended up selling her a tray lamp for her parents' home. And she paid for that tray lamp with a personal check. And on the personal check was where she was living and her phone number. And so after she left, I thought, well, this might be a nice woman to date. And I had no idea at that time that she was still a student at Illinois State University.
A freshman?
A freshman. Had I known that, I probably wouldn't have asked her out. She was too young for me.
All right, so Harry, how old were you at the time?
27.
And how old were you, Marlis?
9 years younger.
Okay. So that means you were like 18. And you went into Stern Furniture by yourself or with your mom or your dad?
No, by myself, because March 4th was always a big day in our family. It was my parents' wedding anniversary, my father's birthday.
Okay.
So I wanted to get them a present for their anniversary. I didn't have a car, so I took a bus from the freshman dorm at ISU, and I saw Stern Furniture on the front of the building, and I pulled the little cord, and the bus stopped, and I got off and walked in, and there was Harry. I still can visualize him walking towards me that day. It was that much of an impression. And we just chatted back and forth, and then I ended up buying that lamp. It was a big lamp, tray lamp. So then I had to call my boyfriend at the time. He had a car to pick me and the lamp up, and went back to the freshman dorm. It was called Witten. And my parents came down the next day, Sunday. And we went to see Marcel Marceau. It was parents' weekend. And I gave him their present. And Harry called me. And he wanted to go on a date, and the date was to see Marcel Marceau
It was really, all right.
Yes.
at ISU. So I went with my parents in the afternoon, and then I went with Harry in the evening.
So that was your first official date.
Yes,
First, met on Saturday, went out on Sunday.
yes.
So how long did you date? I mean, did you guys know that you were going to spend the rest of your lives together? Or Harry, how did it take some convincing on her part? Or when did you guys start talking about that? Or how long did you date before you got engaged?
Close to 3 years.
All right, so tell me again, what date did you meet?
March 3rd, 1968.
And what date did you get married?
August 28th, 1970.
Okay, all right, so that's about just over 2 years. Okay, so you tell me about, do you remember like other dates you did, or I don't know.
Where else did we go?
Well, who played the piano at that club, and he would always play when Irish Eyes were
Oh,
Smiling?
Lyle Smith.
It was like a little club, a bar, piano
Yes,
bar.
piano bar.
We would go there
So Marlis, you broke up with your former boyfriend.
like that.
Okay, quick. And Harry, you were not dating anyone at the time?
Not here in town that I remember.
Okay.
I was spending a lot of time in Chicago
Okay,
looking for a Jewish wife.
you were.
So I dated a lot on the North Shore of Chicago.
Okay. So when did you get engaged, and do you remember exactly when and where you asked her to marry you? How did that, and did you guys talk about getting married? Did you talk about having kids, or?
No, I don't think we did.
Okay.
No, not for a long time.
Not for a long time.
Because I was just a freshman in college. And when we got married, August 28th, 1970, it was after my junior year, and I still had my senior year of college to finish, which I did.
Harry, do you remember when you got engaged, asked her to marry you?
We were sitting in the car at Sears parking lot at Eastland Shopping Center when I proposed to her.
You just thought that was, did it just come to you all of a sudden? or-
Spontaneous?
Yes.
I honestly do not recall.
Okay, all right. And where did you buy the ring? Did you give her a ring when you got engaged?
No,
You did not?
no.
Not at
Okay.
that time.
Okay,
And I recall that we were walking from Sears to the car,
okay.
Oh,
and he asked, just in the parking lot at Eastland Mall, out of the blue.
I never got you an engagement ring.
You never did.
No.
Okay.
Never did.
So do you remember when you got engaged?
Yeah,
Or
it was
like,
very exciting to me, because I didn't know it was coming then.
So
I was surprised.
How much time was there between the engagement and the wedding?
A couple months.
Couple months, all right, that's pretty quick.
Yeah, I would say, well, I must have still been in school here, so it must have been like May, and then we got married in the end of August 28th.
And what did your parents think, Marlis? What did they think of Harry? When did your parents meet him, or where were your parents living at the time?
At the farm,
Okay.
out in Livingston County, our
Okay.
family
So
farm.
you took Harry out there eventually, or how did they meet? Do you
Yes.
Remember that?
Yeah. Well, my father wasn't very happy about that,
And why is that?
because Harry was Jewish, and my background was Methodist.
Okay.
And my mom loved him, but my dad, that was a big stretch for my dad.
Okay. And then,
Tell them about the difference between your parents' education level.
My father quit school when he was in 8th grade because he had to work on the farm.
okay.
And my mom was a college graduate.
Okay.
She was fantastic.
Okay. And are your parents still alive, Marlis?
No, they both died in 1995.
They both died. Okay. All right. And so now, Harry, what about introducing Marlis to your parents? That was 1968. This all happened when you got engaged.
Probably 69 by
Okay.
then.
So, do you remember taking Marlis to meet Gert and Dave?
No, I don't.
All right. I know you two eloped, and we'll talk about that. But
Well, when he was going to tell them that we were going to get married, they invited us to their home on Belmont, 110 Belmont, for dinner,
okay.
just the four of us.
Okay.
I was pretty nervous. And do you remember that dinner?
Yes.
Okay, you tell about that dinner.
But this was the first time you met them. Or no, you.
I've probably seen him or met him before,
Okay.
but this is when Harry was going to tell them
that you were getting married.
that we were going to get married.
Okay, so Harry, tell me a little bit about that meeting, or I assume that did not go so well.
Well, at the end, I told them that we were getting married. And of course, that didn't make either one of them happy.
What? Because Marlis was not Jewish.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well,
That was the only reason. They didn't know me.
we were raised at a dinner table, my sisters and I, where there are three things you didn't do. Number one, you didn't marry out of the faith. Number two, you didn't get divorced. And number three, you didn't adopt. And as it turned out, over the next couple of years, I married out of the faith, Sybil adopted, and Judy divorced.
That's right. So both of your sisters married Jewish men,
Yes.
and your parents were not happy. Okay.
Not happy about me.
All right. So did they forbid you from getting married?
No, they didn't forbid me,
Okay, but-
which wouldn't have worked anyway because
Okay.
I did my own thinking for myself.
Okay.
Tell them about being hit.
Well, when we got up from the dinner table, I was walking over to get my coat, and my father came up and hit me in the back and knocked me down because he was so upset.
Okay.
And so I left there.
We left there.
We left there. And the next day I got an airplane ticket and flew out to visit a friend of mine, the Rubensteins, out in Salem, Oregon. I got out of town
Okay.
for several days.
So when did you two decide that, all right, we're getting married, but we're going to do it? Tell me exactly what elope means.
Elope means you go to a court and you have a judge marry you.
Okay. And when did you decide to do that?
Soon after that.
Soon after that.
When you got back from Oregon.
Oh, was that soon? Okay. And I called a second or third cousin who lived in Springfield, who knew judge down there, and I said, I want to get married, find me a judge, and he did. And on August 28th, the two of us drove to Springfield and we met my close friend Robbie Brown, who I had known for about 6 or 8 years, and she was met by.
I asked my college roommate, Mary Margaret Elizabeth Murphy, to be my bridesmaid, essentially, because we felt we couldn't ask anybody in the family because it was a big secret.
And nobody in Bloomington knew that we were getting married.
All right, so you didn't even tell your sisters.
No, told nobody.
All right, but your sisters met Marlis, obviously, before they saw Evan.
Yeah.
And did you get along with Judy and Sybil?
Yes, Judy was like she always was, bubbly and
Okay.
very welcoming to me. And after we got married, I think the only time our parents ever were together was Judy had a dinner at her house on Vista Drive. And she also invited Fred and Ethel, who were close friends.
Fred and Ethel Cohen.
So my parents came, and it was the only time our parents were ever together. And it went okay.
Is that right? Okay.
Everybody was civil. I don't remember how long after we were married
I don't
that
recall.
happened, but Judy had that dinner party for us.
So you never talked to Judy and Sybil about what happened, or that you...
No,
Nothing? Okay. So you got married again. What date and what year did you get married?
August 28th,
1970.
1970.
We just celebrated our 48th
Okay.
wedding anniversary, and they said it would never last.
Did you go on a honeymoon somewhere?
Yes.
It was what? Well, we had an offer from friends of ours here in Bloomington, Ken and Mary Walker, to use their cabin in Maine,
Kennebunkport, I think.
okay, near Kennebunkport, Maine. It was called Camp Wasito, as I recall.
Yeah.
And so we went out there for, I think, a week.
But right after we got married, we went to St. Louis.
We went to St. Louis after we got married. We spent 2 nights in St. Louis at 2 different places to stay. And that on Saturday night and Sunday night. And I was back at work on Monday morning.
And I started my senior year at ISU Monday morning.
Okay. And where did you two live? Did you live together after you got married? Did you live together before you got married?
No.
No.
All right, and so when did you start living together? When did you?
Well, after we got married, and I was living then at what we called the Castle, a small structure east of Bloomington, where the Lowe's store is now, because I had been living there for about 5 years with my first cousin, Jake Grossman. So we went back there and stayed
A couple nights.
a couple nights or a week, not sure. And then we bought a house at 308 Vista Drive.
And did you buy
Just
that?
down from Judy.
Did you buy the house because, I mean, how did you find that house? Because your sister was living there? Or?
No, a friend of ours was a real estate agent.
Okay, all right. And so you moved into that house when?
Probably September. Very soon
Of 1970?
of 1970.
So you were
1970.
married in August of 1970 and then moved into that house.
Yeah, we
just
bought
a month or so.
we bought that house for $50,000.
Okay. And when was Andrew born?
Andrew's birthday is November 21st, 1973.
Okay.
So I finished college, finished
Okay.
at ISU.
All right. And did you want to wait did you guys talk about having children when you were getting married, and did you want to wait till you were done?
I don't think we
I
did.
don't think we did.
I just knew I wanted to finish college.
Okay. All right. That was important to you to finish college.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
and he had his secure family job, so
Okay.
it was wonderful for 3 years.
So when did you graduate college?
71, and then I was going to be a teacher. There were no jobs around here. So, and Harry couldn't move. So then I went to Rosary College in Chicago during the week, and I got my graduate work, it was Montessori degree. And then I came back and taught at the Montessori school here in Bloomington.
Okay. And Andrew came along again in November 1974. 1973. And how did that go?
Great.
And how did you pick the name Andrew?
I don't know. I just always loved that name.
And what is his middle name? Or initial?
He has that M for a minute.
Okay.
Because everybody was telling me what to do and who to name him and after and all that. But so we got a name that wasn't in the family, my favorite boy name. And everybody just was talking to me about this. So we decided to give him an M for Miller. That kind of satisfied Gert.
For Martha.
For Martha, my grandma, and Marlis.
Okay.
So it really is for Marlis, but everybody thought that M was for them, and it satisfied everybody.
And Harry, you were working at the furniture store.
Oh
all during
yes.
this
Oh
time.
sure.
All during that time.
Okay. And did you talk about having a second child? When did that start happening?
3 years later.
3 years later, Philip was born.
But you just decided that you wanted another baby?
Oh, yeah,
okay, all
for
right.
sure.
And how many kids did you do? When you were a little girl, did you want all kinds of children, or
I never really thought about
you
that.
did not? Okay.
No. And Philip was born October 23rd, 76.
Okay.
So 3 years different.
Okay.
And Andrew was born when we lived at 308 Vista, and Philip was born when we lived here.
All right. When did you move from Vista to here?
1975.
And how did you find this house?
Once again, we had a real estate agent, and I was familiar with the neighborhoods, and I knew this was a nice neighborhood.
And why did you want to leave Vista to come here?
Wanted a
need
bigger,
a bigger
bigger
It's a
house.
bigger house. But that was before. That was when you were pregnant. You moved here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was playing tennis at the racket club with a real estate gal. We were about to begin, and she said, "Oh, I've got a new listing, and it's on Sunset Road." So I said, "Oh my God, I have a terrible headache. I have to leave the game." I called Harry. I said, "Meet me at Sunset Road," because we knew this street was beautiful. And that's how we started working on getting this house. It took us a while to decide on this, because we thought it was very expensive
Okay.
at the time.
How much did you pay? 90,000. You said.
No, let's see, what did I pay? No, yeah, I paid 95,000.
And then we had to remodel the kitchen and add this.
Add this room that we're in.